Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Austin Perry Show. I'm your host, Austin Perry, and today is Monday, April 26, 2021, and this is episode 20. And if you want to find my video content, folks, you can do so on the social media platforms Rumble and BitChute and Brighteon. I would also encourage you to visit my website, which is austinperry.org. And if you would like to leave me a donation, you can do so via PayPal, and my email address for that is austin.perry@gmail.com. And tonight we have a very special guest, my good friend Kyle Lee. Kyle, please introduce yourself.
How are you doing? Thanks for having me on the show. Kyle Lee, I'm a Florida lawyer specializing in employment law. Happy to be here on the show.
All right, thank you so much, sir. And Kyle, why did you choose to come on the Austin Perry Show tonight?
Well, I know you have a new show and I wanted to support you. I'm big into supporting entrepreneurs, supporting my friends. I like what you're doing. And so I wanted to help you in any way that I could. I also wanted to speak to people about what's going on with employment here in the United States, the state of the economy, the state of employment as it relates to coronavirus, COVID, lockdowns. So any opportunity I have to inform the people, happy to do that. And if I can do it while also supporting you, then here I am.
Thank you so much. I think we're gonna have a very interesting discussion tonight. And I have a few questions for you that I'd like to ask.
Sure.
Number one, Kyle, tell me about your early life. Where did you grow up and how many siblings do you have?
Sure. I'm originally from California, born and raised in Southern California. Went to college in California. So Californian until I was 21 years old when I came to Florida. Went to Florida A&M for law school right there in Orlando. Had a great time, loved Florida so much, decided to stay here. And I have one sister, she's a doctor. She's in Daytona Beach. And my brother, he's still in California.
Oh, okay, very nice. I like that. And what inspired you to pursue a career as a lawyer?
Well, I wanted a career where I'd be able to help somebody, help people. So when I thought about that, I thought about my youth, thinking about standing up for people, standing up against bullies. You know, what type of profession would allow you to do that? I also have a background of playing sports in high school and in college, and so I wanted something where you could be strategic and competitive, where I could rely upon that competitive nature that I had in high school, that I had in college. And so I thought, what better career than helping people while representing them in the courtroom, but also having that strategy and the tenacity and competitiveness that goes along with trials.
Seems like a perfect fit for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Next question. Kyle, tell me about your law office.
Yeah.
Where is it located and what type of law do you specialize in?
So the law firm is located in the Tampa Executive Airport. I like that location because one of my biggest hobbies, my pastime, is flying airplanes. So I get to combine working in the law firm, but also with flying airplanes. And sometimes, if I'm lucky enough, during a lunch break, I can run down and go fly for a little bit, relieve that stress, and get back to work. So it's a unique location. I think a lot of my clients, when they come visit, they've never been to that airport. They've never seen an executive airport, a smaller airport that caters to, you know, jets and light aircraft. So it's interesting for them. I really enjoy taking their kids when they bring their kids along, take them out there, show them some of the airplanes. So I really like it. It's a great conversation piece, but it's also an opportunity for me to combine two of my passions.
So not only are you a lawyer, but you're also a pilot, and so you combined aviation and law into one location where you have your office at.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's amazing. And you have a family, you have two children, right?
I do, yes I do.
A family man, a lawyer, he's got it all, folks. So, next question. From your experience, has there been less or more unemployment cases within the last year?
A lot more. Yeah, we've seen a huge increase in unemployment cases.
Wow.
A huge increase in unemployment filings. Last year in 2020, when COVID first hit, the U.S. or hit the world, there were some incentives that came along with unemployment. You can get an extra, at that time, you could get an extra $600 in addition to the normal unemployment. And so unemployment generally capped out at $275 per week in Florida. There was an incentive that came from the federal government in 2020 that allowed an extra $600. So people were making $875 or earning $875 on unemployment during that time. Since then, the extra incentives have gone down. They do still exist. So you will earn more than the $275 traditional cap. But there have been just a record number of unemployment filings, unemployment cases over the last year and a half.
And so the unemployment is almost paying more than a lot of these low-wage jobs.
A lot of times, yeah.
Right.
A lot of times they do.
Very interesting, very intriguing, very thought-provoking. Okay, let's move on. Next question. What is some advice you could give someone who thinks that they have been wrongfully terminated?
Yeah, great question. So a lot of times when people contact my office, they're unsure if what's happening at work is acceptable or not, or that's if they're still employed. If they're contacting me after they've been employed, or after they've been terminated, some of the things that we look for are writings, documents in writing. The truth is just such, it's such a difficult thing to prove in a courtroom without writings and without supporting evidence. We talked earlier about unemployment, about jobs. If something bad happens in the workplace, I highly encourage people to write it down. You can't count on other people to testify or speak up on your behalf, because people right now, especially right now, when jobs are scarce, they're afraid to speak out. They're afraid, and especially afraid to speak out in support of the person that feels like they're being wrongfully terminated or discriminated. So people are naturally going to protect themselves and not want to say anything that could get themselves in trouble. So you have to protect yourself, and you do that by putting things in writing.
Right, so documentation and keeping good records is very key.
Absolutely.
Okay, good advice. Also, what advice would you give someone who is entering the job market seeking a position?
Well, congratulations. If you're entering the job market, I don't know if you're coming out of college, or if you're, hopefully coming off of unemployment, able to find something else. Get a clear job description. When you go to your employment, get a clear job description. If you have a disability, or if you have some concerns about being able to do the job, let your employer know right away. Don't wait until something bad happens to bring up a disability or a need for an accommodation or something along those lines. Be upfront with your employer and ask your employer to do the same with you. Be upfront about what is expected, and that way you can hopefully prevent any issues that might arise.
Absolutely, very true. I can't agree with you more on that one. Next question. What would you recommend to someone who is bad about saving money but is trying to improve their financial situation?
So, not a financial expert, but I'd like to provide some help, to the extent that I could. But there are a lot of apps right now. I know that there's Robinhood, there's Webull, there's some other apps that make it very easy for people to get into investing. You can use those apps. That they have great user interface where you're able to track along with your investments. You can invest a little, invest a lot. You can put it on an automatic or recurring basis, which may be a good idea. And just start educating yourself. With YouTube, there's so much information out there where you can educate yourself on where to invest, how much to invest. But I think the goal is you have to invest. It's just, we've seen that over where the economy has gone. So many people have lost their jobs unexpectedly. So many people have had their hours cut, hours reduced. So if you have the opportunity to invest, download one of those apps and start looking into it. Go on YouTube, talk to people who are a lot smarter than I am or experts into investing, and figure out what you do. But you have to do something.
So really keep track of your finances and what you spend.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is the world economy getting better or worse, and why? What's your opinion?
Well, it's a heavy question. I would say I'm not optimistic. I'm not optimistic, and I think that this pandemic that has stricken the world has opened a lot of people's eyes. I remember the financial crisis, the housing crisis in 2008, and how many people lost their jobs and how many people lost their homes. Fast forward approximately 12 years, here we are with another crisis. People are losing their jobs and have lost their jobs, have lost their homes. I'm not confident that the world economy is improving, is getting better. I see the devaluation of the American dollar. I see the devaluation of so many other fiat or cash currencies in other countries that it does not make me have an optimistic outlook on the world economy.
Not to mention the trillions of dollars of debt that the U.S. is in.
Yeah, and that continues to rise as well. That is
inflation,
true. If you look at inflation from a perspective of the housing market, even the housing market, you look at how much, at least here in Florida, houses have appreciated in the last year, 15, maybe 20% over what they were valued at last year. And you think to yourself, if you're trying to get into the housing market, how can you keep up with that? How can you keep up with a house that is now 20% more than it was last year? It seems almost impossible to be able to get a down payment. That's why investing is so important, but that's also why I'm hesitant about the economy, because I don't know where this goes. I don't know how you keep up with that level of inflation, at least in the housing arena.
My hope is that if we can be innovative in the energy sector, we potentially could bring more jobs and improve the economy that way. But I guess we'll have to see what happens into the future. Okay, very insightful. How can people help to improve our local economy, and why should they support local businesses instead of large chain companies?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great question. Like I said before, I love supporting local businesses. And I was talking to my wife actually not too long ago, thinking about just something as small as going out to eat, and how I rarely go to a chain, McDonald's or Taco Bell. And it's nothing against those companies. It's just I really do support, as being a small business owner, I like supporting small businesses. So how do we affect our economy? Well, we could start there. We could start by shopping local, buying local. And a lot of times, those foods are healthier, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, those foods are healthier. A lot of times the quality of the product that you're buying is a much higher quality. A lot of times you're getting better customer service than you would receive going through a chain with a customer service rep and phone numbers that you have to call, people far away areas answering the phone. It's great when you come to your neighbor and you can talk to them and say, hey, look, this is the issue I'm having, and they can repair it right then and there. Or you're getting locally sourced organic food, healthy food. So that's where I would start. I would start by shopping local, buying local.
Yeah, and I think also people should definitely consider that every time you spend $1, you're casting a vote. So it's very important where you spend your money at.
Yeah. You know that most of the businesses in America are small businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
The majority.
Vast majority.
Vast majority.
Vast majority. And most people work for employers that are 10 or less employees. So,
right.
Yeah, it's very important. It's
very,
the backbone of America.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. That's the spirit of America, folks.
Yep.
What does it mean to you to be an entrepreneur?
Well, I think, I started off working in the corporate world. When I came out of law school, I worked at law firms the traditional way. But I always had the goal of starting my own practice. And the reason I wanted to do that was because I wanted to help people, because I wanted to be at the helm of the ship. I wanted to control the direction of the cases. But also, as you mentioned before, I have a family, and money isn't everything. So it was important for me to be present in my kids' life, present with my wife, and to be able to enjoy our lives, So that's why I chose to be an entrepreneur, because I could control the cases that I have, right? I can control the narrative of the cases to the best of my abilities. But at the same time, I could spend time with my kids while they're young. I could spend time with my family, with my wife. We could enjoy each other's company. And so that's why I decided to be an entrepreneur, because of the freedom that comes along with it. Now, it's not all easy. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of headache, late nights, early mornings, weekends, all of those things. But I think at the end, it's worth it. I would make the decision again to do so.
I think you're totally right. And to me, you touched on what you said, freedom. I think that's what it really means to be an entrepreneur, is to have freedom. But it takes, like you said, very hard work and dedication and long hours.
Yeah, so like an example I remember thinking about when I was making the decision was, if I have to work, let's say 10 hours in a day, if I work at a traditional job, they're going to say that those 10 hours have to be between 8 and 5, for instance. Let's say, or I guess 8 and 6 to make it 10. Okay, so 8 and 6. Whereas what I wanted to be able to do was say, well, look, how about this? I might start at 6 o'clock in the morning. I might work until noon. Right, put in those 6 hours, take a break so I can go pick up my daughter from school, pick up my son from school, and then I'll finish the other 4 hours in the evening. But I have control over the way that it's done, so that I can make sure that my life, my family is a priority, and I'm able to handle that first, and I can build my schedule around it.
Right, setting your schedule is very important also to being an entrepreneur. Okay. Another question for you, Kyle. Mm-hmm. Is cryptocurrency the currency of the future?
Well, that's interesting. Though, I do think that, I think cryptocurrency is around to stay. I do think that has some staying power. I'm not an expert in crypto. I've been doing my research, and I have a lot more research to do, understanding the blockchain of it. But there are I would say there's many groups of people who I think that it appeals to, right? A lot of different factions of people that it appeals to. The nature of it, the anonymity of it, right? I think that appeals to people who are not trusting of banks, not trusting of the government. So the fact is that I could transfer money to you, and I have a special, secret, anonymous code, right, that represents me. You have one that represents you, and the only thing that will be recorded on the blockchain will be the date, the amount, and from me to you, but it wouldn't say from Kyle, right? To Austin, it would say my secret set of numbers and yours is, to you. So I think that people enjoy that it can't be tracked. So people who are concerned with the government, people who are concerned with or mistrusting of or untrusting of the banks, they would appreciate it. But for me, I think I like the ability that it transcends borders, that it's very easy for you to travel and exchange cryptocurrency with other individuals. And so I like that aspect of it.
And also, China made an announcement saying that they're looking at investing into crypto. So, folks, that is a very good indication that cryptocurrency is here to stay.
And they have a billion people living there, correct?
Yep, or more.
Yeah, or more, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Also, I want to ask you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Is the best crypto Bitcoin, and why?
So, I've been thinking about this for a while. As you know, there are many cryptos.
Right.
Dogecoin, right? That's one that's popular right now.
Doge, yes.
Dogecoin, yeah. Bitcoin is one that I'm personally invested in, is Bitcoin. And the reason I invested in Bitcoin is not because of the ability to use it as a currency. It may get to that point, it may not. I know that Bitcoin is highly volatile right now. The reason I like Bitcoin is because I think it's the new age gold, right? And that's what I like about it. It's capped at 21 million. About 18.5 million have already been mined, so it leaves about 2.5 million left to be mined. But there is a set cap on how many Bitcoin there are.
Right.
So there's the scarcity,
Right.
there's the demand, and once you have scarcity and demand, it's going to increase the value of that product. And in this situation, I think that Bitcoin has a huge demand. We've heard of Tesla, Visa, Square, PayPal, all these large companies, wealthy individuals investing in it. That's going to cause the demand to rise. The scarcity is already there, so just basic economics, scarcity and demand will lead to increase in price. And so I think people like that. And when you think about it in terms of an asset, a digital asset, it goes back to why I'm a fan of cryptocurrencies. Not necessarily because I'm, hesitant to deal with the government or with banks, but it's because of how easy it is to transfer that. So if we were to look at that compared to a physical asset like gold, if I wanted to give you $100,000 in gold, I'm guessing that'd be pretty heavy, right?
That'd be a lot of weight.
It'd be a lot of weight, and it'd be difficult. Do I take it on an airplane? How do I bring $100,000 of gold to
truck or something?
Exactly. And so, but for me to take out my cell phone, have your secret code, and I can just send it to you right away, I think it's very efficient. And so that's why I'm behind Bitcoin. I can't say that it's going to be, my guess is that Bitcoin will be around for a very, very long time, the rest of our lives. But I do think that there will probably be some other cryptocurrencies that are not as volatile, that are used more as the currency, and whereas Bitcoin will remain more of an asset, such as gold. Just like we don't buy things in gold today. I don't walk up and hand you, an ounce of gold to buy something. I think that's how Bitcoin will be. That it won't be used so much as buying things as a currency, but it will be an asset.
Okay. Very smart analysis on that. What do you think the future of Bitcoin is? How high will it go, do you think?
I've seen some very, very high. Right now, as we're recording this, I think it's hovering right around 54,000. It's peaked at around 64, 65,000 a few weeks ago. There's a lot of analysis that is saying they expect it to go 300,000 or higher, by the time
soon too.
Yeah, by the end of the year. I mean, there's a very popular analysis. It's called the stock to flow model, where they're projecting it to go to 288,000 by the end of the year, so December 31st of 2021. Will that happen or not? I'm not sure. That is what the stock to flow model shows. And in terms of market cap, Bitcoin currently has about 1 trillion market cap, and gold has 10 trillion. So if you're adding up the value of all the gold that exists, is 10 trillion. And if you add up the value of all the Bitcoin that's currently out there, it's 1 trillion. They expect it to displace gold, or at least match gold. So the market cap for Bitcoin will be 10 trillion. That would put Bitcoin at 10 times the current value, so approximately $500,000 or $500 to $40,000.
Wow. And once again, just a caveat, folks, we are not giving financial advice in any way, shape, or form. But I have watched videos online of economists talking about how potentially Bitcoin could go up to $1 million within the next 5 years or less.
Yeah.
So that is very interesting, very intriguing, very thought-provoking. Okay, Kyle, shifting gears now.
Sure.
Do you think there's a housing boom happening in Florida right now?
Well, absolutely. I do think, I'm not sure if it's a bubble or not, but there's definitely a boom. Like I said, these prices are going up 20% a year. I don't know how. Luckily, I own my home, thank God. I don't know how you can get into the market right now if you're trying to do so. going back to one of your previous questions about investing, I think that's probably the only way you can. Putting your money into a bank right now, you're not going to be able to keep up. I don't think you'll be able to keep up with the increase of the inflation of the housing market.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That's something to think about.
Yeah, the appreciation of these houses moving up at, let's say, 15-20% a year. I don't know if it's a bubble. I hope it's not a bubble, because if it's a bubble, that would have to mean that it bursts, right? What goes up must go down. If there's a bubble, it's going to pop. I don't want that to happen. A lot of people will be hurt by that, but definitely a boom right now. Houses are coming off the market left and right.
So people are moving to Florida. People are buying houses in Florida at a staggering rate.
Oh yeah, a lot of people moving to Florida.
Okay. I want to ask you now, what alternative fuel sources do you think are most promising?
I like solar energy, especially in Florida. We're in the Sunshine State right now. So I would like to figure out a way that we could efficiently harness solar energy. I think that'd be fantastic. Going back to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, which brings in Tesla. I think I mentioned Tesla is an investor into Bitcoin. I know Elon Musk is working on solar panels that go in the house, on the roof. Solar panels that don't even look like traditional solar panels. They look like tiles, roof tiles.
Shingles.
Yep, they look like shingles, exactly. Yep. And so those would connect to the Tesla Powerwall inside of the home. And I think that's what I would like to see us harness is solar energy. We have tons of sunlight here in Florida. Why not capture it?
I like solar too. I think solar is going to just get even bigger than what it is, and solar is increasing. A lot of people are adding solar to their houses, folks.
I think they were saying with the Tesla truck that's coming out, I was reading about it, and I put down the deposit to do it. We'll see if I pull the trigger when it comes out
really?
Or not. Yeah, but I did. Yeah, and you know why? Because I hate going to the gas station. I hate going to the gas station. So if I could plug in my car at night or my truck, I suppose, at night, and then wake up in the morning and just go straight to my destination, I'm happy to do that. But they were talking about, Elon Musk was mentioning putting solar on the truck, in the back of the truck on the bed. There's a bed cover. I don't know if you've seen the Tesla truck, but there's a cover that goes over the bed, and they were, I guess, discussing putting solar panels as a bed cover. And I think he was saying in the future they probably will do that. They'll make that some type of option. I don't think it's going to be an original or an option on the first version, but in the future that may become an option. I think the issue is surface space, so we have to improve the technology so that even though the surface space might be 6 feet, it's enough to make a significant contribution to
the absorption of the sun's rays needs to be improved.
Yeah, put them on cell phones too. I'd like to have that too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you put a deposit on a Tesla. Is Tesla the future of automobiles?
Tesla has a huge market share of electric vehicles. There's another company that I've looked into that is big in China, NIO. Have you heard of NIO?
Actually, I have. They make motorcycles as well.
Oh, do they?
Yep.
I didn't know that. You're a motorcycle guy.
Yep.
Well, so their technology is interesting because they can do battery swaps. So after your battery, like with cell phones or anything, laptops, over a period of time, the quality of your battery, the charge with your battery goes down, right? So after a year, you might only be able to charge it up to 85% of the battery. But what NIO does is they allow you to just sit in your car, almost like you're at a drive-through car wash. You pull in, you sit, NIO will take the battery out and replace it with a new battery.
Oh, just swap it out.
Exactly, they swap batteries. So that's their innovative technology. They are big in China, but in terms of Tesla, I just think Tesla is just a behemoth. I think they're going to be at least the front runner continue to be the front runner in the United States. How does it work out in China? I'm not sure, because China could also change regulations in terms of importing Teslas and show preferential treatment to NIO since it's a Chinese-based company. So I'm not sure how that will play out in China, but at least in the United States, probably in the Western world, I think Tesla is going to be, the big dog.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that Tesla has made the most amount of power stations around the United States also. So they've already set up that infrastructure.
That was so smart by Elon and Tesla, running out and setting up that infrastructure, and you're right. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. So maybe you should buy a Tesla next, folks. If you're looking for a new car, get yourself a Tesla.
And then he's doing a competition, and whoever gets it right, they win a Tesla?
There might be a raffle. Comment down below. You might win.
You might win a Tesla. You might not. Disclaimer at the bottom, no Teslas. No Tesla.
I don't know if I can afford those prizes. This isn't Oprah, folks. This is the Austin Perry Show, episode 20. All right, next question, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Would the world be a better place if free energy was available to the people?
I think so, yeah. I absolutely think so. I mean, there's a lot of, man, I think, when you're looking at energy, there are a lot of, wars, right? Oil.
Right.
Energy.
Resources,
right? When you're talking about oil, that's a huge source of energy, and there are wars, a lot of bloodshed over that. So, yeah, I'm all for free energy if there's a way that we can do it. And again, that would go back to my hope for solar. I hope for solar is, if we could use that, if we could figure out how to harness that energy, capture that energy, and transport it. Maybe in the United States, Florida, where the sunshine state, but maybe we need to move it up north where they're not as, they don't have as much sunlight as we have. So we'd have to figure out a way that we could efficiently transport the energy from Florida or Texas, Nevada, Arizona, states that get a lot of sunlight to, somewhere up north, maybe Connecticut, something like that doesn't get a lot of energy. But that's, as it pertains to the United States. But your question was about, would it be better? Can you phrase the question again?
Yes. Would the world be a better place if free energy was available for the people?
Yeah, would it be a better place? Yeah. I was talking specifically about the United States, but there have been so many wars and bloodshed regarding oil. So yeah, if we can figure out a way to get free energy.
And then also there's growing green algae to be used as energy, or possibly harnessing tidal, the ocean's tide, or ocean current energy, things like this. And I think that not necessarily everything should be free, but I think we should definitely have a duty to provide the people with free energy and water, at least.
Well, yeah, and you're talking about the basic necessities of life.
Right.
And I get that. You joked about a free Tesla earlier. Again, joking. You joked about a free Tesla earlier, and I get that. A Tesla shouldn't be free, but you're talking about, about giving people water and electricity, access to water, access to electricity, some form of energy. I agree with you 100%. There's so many people in the world who don't have a constant stream of energy or electricity or clean water. So if there's a way that we can do that and get it to them, I don't know how we would, if we could harness that solar energy, how do we efficiently move the energy around the world? I don't know, but that would be something that I think would be extremely helpful.
Absolutely. We need to make the world a better place. I think people should definitely get free energy.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on wind turbines, Kyle?
Have you ever seen a wind turbine in person?
Not here in Florida yet.
No, I haven't. I have not seen them in Florida, but I have seen them. Enormous.
Right.
They're enormous. Yeah. It's actually it's impressive how big they are.
They're massive.
Yeah, they absolutely are. But no, we don't have many here in Florida. But again, I guess it would go back to again, I'm bringing this to the United States. Each state has something they can provide. Florida, I guess we don't get a ton of wind here.
Right.
We're not.
Unless there's a hurricane.
Yeah. Okay. Then the things will move really fast.
Oh.
Yeah. So, what we can offer here as Floridians, or the state of Florida can offer, is the sunshine and using the solar panels. But other states would be able to, provide that wind energy. I'm all for it. I'm all for wind energy.
I think that the wind turbines are really cool feats of engineering.
Yeah, they are. Like I said, they're enormous when you see them in person.
Amazing technology.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, very, very cool. Kyle, last question for you today. If Elon Musk figures out how to shuttle people over to Mars, would you go?
Oof. Well, it depends. I think it depends on when you leave, when in the year you leave, as to how long it takes to get there.
Right, because of the orbits.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think I've heard around 2 years travel time.
That's a long time.
That's a long time, and I think that my wife would not be happy with me being gone for 2 years.
What if the family came with you?
Yeah, if they made it a comfortable 2-year trip, sure. I would do it.
I think it would be really cool to go to Mars. I would definitely maybe wait to see how the first colonies go first, and maybe wait until it's a little more established, but I would love to go to Mars. Elon Musk, if you're watching, sign me up.
And also donate the free Tesla that we just saw. Offered.
That also. So, Kyle,
yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming on the Austin Perry Show tonight. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kyle Lee. He has a law office here in Tampa, Florida. And would you like to just let the people know where they can find you, where they can contact you, or your website?
Sure. If you want to visit our website, trialkyle.com. If you want to give us a call, 833-KYLE-LEE. And yeah, thanks, Austin. Thanks for having me on the show. Happy to help. If you have any questions about employment here in Florida, I will be happy to have a consultation with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kyle. And folks, if you want to find my video content, once again, you can do so on the social media platforms Rumble and BitChute and Brighteon. And if you want to, you can also visit my website, which is austinperry.org. That's where you can find my video content, you can find art for sale, and you can find other merchandise for sale. And also, folks, if you want to support my video content and if you think that I'm doing a good job, please leave me a donation, and you can do so via PayPal. And my email address for that is austin.perry@gmail.com, and that is spelled P-A-R-R-Y. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on this Monday, April 26, 2021, episode 20 edition of the Austin Perry Show. Everybody have a great night. We will see you tomorrow on episode 21. Love and peace, and goodbye.